going on? Welcome to episode 56 of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh. My co-host on this one, Hate Zero, and Captain Logan. Before we get started, this is an unofficial Nintendo podcast. If you're looking for the official Nintendo podcast, make sure to search Nintendo Power Podcast on iTunes or whatever podcast listener you use. Before we get started, audibletrial.com/NPC gets you a free audiobook of your choice, and you help support this show. Books I recommend: Super Mario, How Nintendo Conquered America, Ready Player One, and The Ultimate History of Video Games is also a good one. The chair I'm sitting in, from opseat.com. It's comfortable, affordable. It's a great gaming chair. Use coupon code N64Josh to save $10. That's opseat.com. Lastly, I do have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/N64Josh. It gets you an extra podcast each month. There's multiple tiers. Go check it out if you're interested in helping support the show that way. Okay, let's talk about when we do this show. It's live Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Eastern. I know, it's late. I'm sorry. But that's when we got to do it. It's on twitch.tv/N64Josh. If you want to watch and or listen, you can go to thelootcave.com/NPC56. That's where you'll find all the links and the ability to watch and or listen to the show. I think that pretty much takes care of all of the housekeeping. Hey, how you been, man?
I'm well. I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while. What up, NPC fam? This is Hate Zero, ya hero.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Things I haven't missed.
He's back.
Okay, Captain Logan,
go ahead.
How you doing? We're going to let him compose himself. He got it out of his system, and now he can't stop laughing.
Oh, man. It's good to hear you, Hate. I'm doing good. I'm getting over a cold. I took a week of vacation for the holidays and spent all of it in bed. So, you know.
Hey.
That doesn't sound good.
No, it's never fun. I think everyone gets sick from time to time, and this was my time. And I blame my wife. We shared a drink at the movies, and halfway through the movie, I realized it. And then the next morning, I was like, "Yep, I'm sick."
That's unfortunate.
That is definitely unfortunate. Well, what have you guys been playing this last week? Go, Hate.
Well, I've been playing some Floor Kids. I played a little bit more of the Punishing versus Super Mario Brothers.
How far did you make it?
I warped, so I think I made it to like World 6 or something. It's just the game's tough.
I like this,
and I feel like the controls are slightly off. I played with the Pro controller, and they don't feel as tight. Maybe I'm just terrible now, but I felt like the controls felt a little sloppy. I'm gonna have to play in handheld and see. I feel like I'm getting input lag. I don't think it's just me. I think there's some real input lag issues.
I think you need to order the arcade stick and play it with that and see what happens. That's more realistic, you know.
Yeah, I guess.
No, okay. Logan, what have you been playing?
I finished up Blossom Tales, which if you guys haven't picked that up and you love like 2D Zelda games, that's a really good game. It's short.
You mean
it's
Awesome Tales?
Blossom Tales.
You mean Awesome Tales? No,
it's awesome, but you gotta Blossom from the 90s.
Oh,
she made a game.
Whoa.
Her diary. So you get to go through her diary and find out all the awesome story. No,
I'm so sorry if you're young and you missed that reference.
Everyone knows what whoa is.
Whoa. Oh yeah. This game is a whoa. So it's worth it. I think it's $15, but Blossom Tales is a good 10-hour indie, totally making reference to Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening and A Link to the Past. The gameplay solid, and the puzzles and the dungeons are exactly what a lot of people missed from Breath of the Wild. So I enjoyed that. And then played a little bit more Mario plus Rabbids. I need to get back into that. And since I was sick, I sat around collecting Koroks in bed.
Cool.
There you go.
Cool.
There you go.
Hey, did I cut you off? Is there any other games you played?
No, I played a little bit more Battlefront 2.
Okay, cool. This last week, guys, I kid you not, there was a giant dust storm in my office because I started like blowing off all of the Switch games that were stacked up in here and played Mario plus Rabbids, beat that second boss. They updated that game and made it easier, which really bummed me out because I was like, this wasn't even a challenge this time. So they made it a little bit too easy, in my opinion. Played more Skyrim, which was fun. A lot more Xenoblade. I'm like 80 hours into that game now. Mario Kart with viewers, Splatoon with viewers. Man, I'm rusty at that game. And Kirby was like, oh, don't worry, we'll be on the scrub team together, as she literally mopped the floor with all of us. So shout out to Kirby for being a baller at Splatoon, because man. And that new mode, Clam, whatever it's called.
Clam Bake.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. So played a lot of games, just a lot of games. I can't even remember all of them. We played so many of them. I did the co-op and versus on Mario plus Rabbids. Fun game. Very fun mode. Just a ton of stuff. It was really cool. My uncle was here. We played a lot of Switch. So, and I unlocked the Master Sword on Skyrim. He was able to get Link's tunic and the shield. So we were scanning all the amiibo I had open anyway. So it was good times. As far as any pickups, I'm happy to tell you guys, I have completed the physical collection from 2017. I've completed it.
Nice.
I don't have every game in hand. I'm tracking the shipping. They'll be here soon, but all the way down to Ben 10, which I had forgot, and then finally found it at Target yesterday online. So yeah, I mean, I'm literally, there's a Skylanders box next to me right now. Like, what? But all the physical games. While I was streaming on, I believe it was on Tuesday, Hate decided to gift me the gift of Floor Kids. And so
I did that because I had been begging you to play it, and I knew it wasn't happening any other way. So I said, be right back.
BRB. And then I get a text. Here's a code for $20. Buy Floor Kids. I should have totally trolled you and just bought something else and then went back.
I immediately thought that was what he's going to go buy something else just to spite me.
Sweet. Here we go. I'm going to buy Blossom Tails. Oh, man.
So is now the appropriate time for you to talk about it?
Let's talk about Floor Kids. It's fine. We can make this our review section real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've talked about it enough. I mean, I'll talk about it again in a little bit, but I'd love to hear your first impressions and thoughts of it.
You know, it's a little bit difficult at first trying to get the hang of it. It's almost counterintuitive in a way because you want to press a bunch of different buttons, but in the reality, you can kind of like press one button for a while on beat and then slowly switch, and then it's like. It takes a little bit of time to get all of the moves down, but once, and I don't even have them all down, but the ones that I have to where I could start doing decent combos, I think I 5-starred like one song. You know, most of them were 4, some of them were 2. So it really just it's a game that you have to take some time with. But once you get it down, it's very rewarding watching the breakdancing happening right on screen, and just watching your score multiply and doing the moves that the crowd is calling out to do. Like it's pretty awesome. I was pretty impressed by it.
Yeah. So, you know, we talked about it last week and the Tony Hawk comparison came up, and it's kind of similar in that, where if you're playing Tony Hawk, you can just kickflip the entire level, do nothing but kickflip. you're not going to score very well, but
Right.
you could do it if you want. You can do that in Floor Kids. You can do all top rock, which is the standing breakdance, and just do one button the entire time. But mixing your combos and actually doing the appropriate combination it's asking for is where all the points are. And then once you get better into the game, you'll start noticing that transitioning from one dance move to another all has a custom animation. There's each character has over 500 custom animations or something. The amount of work that went into animating these is ridiculous. So
the other thing that was quite fun with that game is couch multiplayer.
Oh, you played it?
Yeah, and it was a ton of fun. My wife, my aunt, and my uncle, all four of us kind of just took turns doing little dance-offs or whatever, and it was really enjoyable because I had somewhat of an advantage having already played a couple hours of it, but they were able to learn the moves pretty quick. I was able to kind of direct them pretty quickly so that they were able to pull off the moves and show them, hey, the crowd is saying they want you to do this right now, and then they even pulled off a few of the bigger combos or whatever, and had a really good time doing it. So pretty impressed overall with that game. And rumor is we might be talking with a few of the guys from Floor Kids next week, maybe.
Yeah, so I've been talking to the devs and the designer for a while via Twitter and email, and I'm not sure who's going to be on the team that's shown up. Might be a few guys, so we'll have to play it by ear. But as of right now, it's looking like next Tuesday, at least some portion of the Floor Kids crew will be here live on the NPC.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a good time. Make sure you're here live for that if you can. So let's. Did you guys have any other pickups for this week? I know just after the holidays, everybody kind of stopped spending money. It seems to, unless you have a bunch of gift cards.
No, I didn't pick up anything. I picked up a ukulele a couple weeks back, and played a couple worlds of that, and that game is kind of rough. I don't know if they intentionally made it kind of janky with the controls, but it looks and it feels amazing, or it looks amazing and the sound's amazing. It feels like a third party controller on an N64 system.
Oh, yuck.
So I don't know if they're going to patch it later, make it a little bit cleaner, a little bit easier to play. But yeah, I'm having it's a struggle to try and get through that game right now.
Bummer. Well, we have a lot to talk about. Amazon decided to, just drop a bunch of Switch prices on their website, like Switch game placeholders, and then all kinds of different prices that were all over the place, which made for great conversation in our Discord. Some of these prices were $99, which, okay, maybe that's a limited edition game. Some of them were $75, and that was the price of the Xenoblade Chronicles controller. What do you guys think? Logan, what do you think about these crazy prices that Amazon dropped? The rumor, everybody thinks, obviously, rumors the January 11th direct, right? That's the big rumor.
Yeah.
But when you saw some of these things, what were you like? What was the first thing you thought?
I was thinking that some of the prices might have hardware attached to them. Like we haven't gotten new Joy-Cons since the Super Mario Odyssey bundle. I don't know, maybe another Pro controller. They're still pumping out a bunch of 2DSs and stuff. So I don't know if it's all going to be collector's editions or steelbooks, but I think we might, because Kirby's coming out first or second quarter, spring 2018 is what they've said. So I think it's a little soon to be looking at that, but I don't know. Some of them look like they might have been amiibo, so we might get some more amiibo that might be like the Shovel Knight stuff. But I can't think of anything that would be $100 outside of some of the stuff that we've already seen just from like NBA 2K18 and FIFA and stuff. So I don't know. Is there any sports games coming out in the fall or not?
Oh, there's always a sports game in the fall.
And anything coming out like next 3 months that we can think of?
Sports wise, I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. So I can't think of what titles they could come out with. We already know Bayonetta 1 and 2 is going to be $60. And Yoshi's probably going to be later in the year. We know Bayonetta 3 is in production maybe this year. I can't think of anything outside hardware.
It's shaped like a man. Yeah. Says Michael Phelps.
Yeah, it's Michael Phelps 2018. It's the game we all need. I don't know.
You have to do the different strokes with the Joy-Cons.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow. Please, no. There you go. That's the workout game right there.
I'm just waiting for the next like UFC game to come out so we can throw Joy-Cons through our TVs.
Man, I'm telling you, a punch out with the controller arms immediately made me think we need a punch out. We need a punch out.
They tried to punch out and they stopped doing it now. They've stopped supporting it.
But they could do it well. I feel like they could finally do it well.
Shots fired.
But yeah, I mean, I think what you said is mostly correct. I mean, we don't know. Historically, there's been some $99 steel case, like legendary editions. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that $99 is a Zelda that comes with a statue and steel book and an art book. That wouldn't shock me at all. Game of the Year edition, just one game of the year. Who would be surprised?
With the DLC and everything, yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. But yeah, I mean, hardware, it could be a new 2DS. I don't know.
This is the VR goggles we're going to get.
It's not the VR goggles.
$99, we're going to get a headset that you slip your Joy-Cons out of.
Okay,
and put the Switch in there.
Let's get it right. So if Nintendo's making it, it won't be $99. And
yeah, third of the system. That's easy.
No, not happening.
Kirby Geeks' Fire Emblem Special Edition for the weebs to buy.
Yeah, it could be. So we're going to get some of that. The $75, yeah, probably special edition Pro controllers. Sure.
A Yoshi Pro controller. Or maybe it's just a giant pink one that's a Kirby edition. Would you guys get a pink Kirby Pro controller?
I kind of already have one. So Xenoblade Chronicles is like, I don't know, fuchsia. Is that a color?
Fuchsia's a color, yeah.
Yeah, there
sure is. Absolutely.
I thought it was called watermelon.
That was our magic word of the day.
That's
fuchsia. So, yeah. So January Direct. Everybody's basically anticipating this thing coming out the 11th. This comes along with the news that Nintendo wants to be at 20 million Switch units next year. This Direct, in my mind, is going to have to drop some serious bombs. So, this is the question that I have for you guys, and people in chat, you guys can answer as well. What does Nintendo have to do to sell 20 million units by next year?
You want me to start?
Yeah, go for it.
They have to make 20 million Nintendo Switches before the end of next year.
Ooh, that's a valid point.
Bro,
that's awesome. We're done here.
So point. Deep.
If they make 21 million, they could probably sell 21 million too.
Yeah, so I think we're all extremely excited for the Direct because we haven't had one in a while. There hasn't been a lot of news. But what Nintendo Direct has really blew your mind So don't put too much into this, because there's still going to be E3. There's still going to be the directs leading into E3 where Nintendo typically shines.
So here's why I think there's going to be a major bomb in this direct. I think we're going to see a major AAA release in March. I think they're going to have to somewhat follow the last year's plan of, at launch, we had Zelda, which then became Game of the Year. So none of the games that we have heard of yet, Kirby, Yoshi looks great, by the way. I went back and watched that trailer. Don't sleep on that game whatsoever. That game looks really good. I actually can't wait to play it. But it's not going to be a system seller, I don't think. Yeah. So March has to have a game. And March, I don't know if you guys remember, like the last 2 years, though, it's like when people start getting tax returns, the game companies figured out that, hey, let's start. It's almost like the holiday season again in March. So Nintendo has to be there with at least one major title that people are hyped for. What does that title have to be? That's kind of the question that I'm wondering. Logan, what do you think?
I've been thinking about it a lot and trying to think, like, what could they possibly do? We know for sure that at the last direct, they announced that Wolfenstein 2 is coming. So they've got third-party support there. We know we're getting a ports of Bayonetta 1 and 2. Kirby's out in spring. The only thing I can think they could put out there is maybe like a DX version of Smash Brothers. I mean, all their other bigger titles. I mean, Yoshi's like a working title right now. Metroid Prime 4 is like in development. Bayonetta 3 is in development. Like, I mean, what do we have? We've got Animal Crossing. We've got Pikmin 4. We've got Smash Brothers. Like, there's not much left for them to grab onto that's AAA quality that we can see. I mean, Mega Man 11 is going to be in holiday 2018. Fire Emblem could be it, and it wouldn't surprise me if it's Fire Emblem, to be honest, because that's something a lot of people have been wanting, and that's about the time that they usually drop Fire Emblem games, is around that early year springtime.
Hey, what do you think?
I won't be surprised if they announce Pikmin 4, because they already kind of accidentally let it out of the bag, and then he kind of rewind. He's like, well, I'm not supposed to talk about it, but was it Miyamoto who did it just last year? I think
he said it was ready, but they didn't have anything to talk about.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to talk about it, or they would kill him if he talked about it or something. So I think that's ready, and they were holding it back to, I imagine, launch early this year, because those are great games, but they've never been games that are going to be huge system sellers, and it's not going to be a game of the year. But those are really good games, so I won't be surprised with that. I'm still predicting we're going to get Mario Maker Switch, because if I predict it long enough, it's going to come true. And I'm holding out on that one.
I would love that, but I don't know how they're going to adapt it. I mean, unless they just do all cursor movement, which that kind of kills.
It could come with a stylus that has the soft tip, and just like on iPad, you can get a stylus for like an iPhone and stuff, even though you're supposed to just typically use your finger, right? So they could come out with something that might work, but that's only going to work not docked, right? So that's tricky for streaming and that kind of stuff.
Hey, maybe one of those Amazon $99 items is a new tablet that you can write on and plug into your Switch as a third peripheral.
Turn your Switch into a Wii U.
Maybe the $99 is Mario Maker that comes with that tablet.
Yeah, maybe. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? You know what? I'm going to go back with my original idea that the DS is the controller that you can build with for Mario Maker. That's why they're keeping the DS alive for Mario Maker.
Burn the mother down.
So you can use your stylus, and you just download the app so that you can build on off screen while you're docked, and then
Yep.
you're good to
Just
go.
burn the mother down.
Yeah.
But I mean, what is their 2018 plan for the DS though? I mean, what's coming out? We've got like 3 Atlas games and a Kirby. Like, that's going to be great.
We're probably going to see some kind of Pokemon game. They're pretty much yearly. It'll be a remake of an older title or whatever. It might only be on the eShop, but Crystal's due out, and that's already we already know about Crystal, but I mean, that's like, we know the next Pokemon's coming for Switch, and they might be able to squeeze it into 2018, which that will be a system seller for the holidays. Like that'll push units. Kirby says the sushi game. Don't forget the sushi game. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. My apologies. The sushi game. Yes.
In the Discord, was it last week? I talked about if anyone cares about racing games, because they launched Mario Kart, and assuming it's a normal cycle, we're not going to see another Mario Kart, even though it was just a port. We're not going to see Mario Kart 9 till probably 2020, maybe 2019 at the earliest. So I suspect Nintendo is going to pump out some sort of first-party racing game in 2018 to fill that void.
It's possible. Maybe Diddy Kong
Maybe.
Racing makes a comeback, right? I mean,
did you see the tweet I tweeted out?
Oh my gosh! You had to start it, didn't you? You knew he was excited, and you knew it was something he wanted to talk about.
Yeah, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
So,
in case
clearly, I'm not the only one who is excited for Diddy Kong Racing. Let's make Diddy Kong race again. Can we get that a hashtag? Let's everybody go out and hashtag Nintendo of America. Let's make Diddy Kong race again.
I can't even. All right. I'm gonna reel us back in here. So let's have some real talk here. Nintendo basically dropped the major heavy hitters in the first year. Okay. Zelda, Mario Kart, and Mario Odyssey. Those are staple titles for Nintendo that sell systems. I think Splatoon has somewhat become that. I can remember hearing people say, "Oh, I'm waiting to get a Switch till Splatoon comes out." Right? So that's already out. The hardcore have all bought the systems already. That's been clear. So the next step for Nintendo to push systems is a couple things as I'm thinking about it right now. I firmly believe Animal Crossing is a system seller. There is a casual market that loves that game, that plays that game for hours. There's a lot of people that play that game that maybe don't even talk about it. Animal Crossing is a huge title for Nintendo. Okay. We haven't seen one in a long time. There is quite possibly a chance that will be the game we see in March, which I'd be cool with. That would be great. Let's drop Animal Crossing in March, and shortly after Bayonetta, but those two really aren't going to be the same market. Bayonetta is very niche, right? It's very niche. And so I could see Animal Crossing being March. The next game that I think is really going to move systems is Smash Bros. I can't really think of another game other than Pokemon, which we know is announced, but we don't really know when it's coming out, that will really move systems for the Switch. Now, it's on Nintendo, right, to get all the marketing, to really market this thing. If they drop a bomb at this direct that a certain game is coming out, that game better be on the Super Bowl ads, right? That's it. It better be. Last year, we saw the Switch ad run a couple different times during the Super Bowl. That played a part in sales for the Switch. There's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah.
The other thing I will be completely surprised if this doesn't happen. We are going to start seeing more limited edition Switches. We're going to start seeing stuff that will get collectors to be buying, right? Because look, some people just love having the different, you can already see it with Joy-Cons. Some people have every Joy-Con, right? But you start putting cool designs and colors on the back of the Switch itself, making the dock look different. People are going to buy it. They're going to buy it, and that's going to move more units. So for me, it's Smash, Animal Crossing, and limited edition games. What do you guys think?
There's something that we haven't even breached the topic of that is still very much up in the air, and that is the online system and virtual console.
Yeah,
they could drop that at this direct and say, hey, we've been working really hard on this, and we got our online infrastructure. We're rolling out Nintendo and Super Nintendo games at the beginning of 2018, and hope to bring some Wii and Wii U HD ports of GameCube games later on at the end of the year.
And that could be the case too, that we start seeing more GameCube HD remakes, Wii U or Wii and Wii U ports. That could definitely be filler, but I can't think of any other major games. What about you, Hate?
No, I mean, Smash is probably the biggest thing they can bring to the system. The other, they're probably working on something major that is not one of the titles we're thinking of. As much as I think online's important, and the virtual console is a must, no one's going to buy the system like, oh, I heard Nintendo has a way better online infrastructure now. That's a must buy. That's no one's doing that. So that's not going to sell the system. I certainly want that. But they need to grow I think Metroid needs to be the title that Halo was for Microsoft. And I know Josh is on board with this and saying this for a long time too. Because Smash is a huge game and it's going to sell a lot of consoles, but not everyone likes fighter games, and that's what it is at its core. But I don't think there's a bigger market than first-person shooters right now, at least. I think it overpassed sports games even. It's got to be the biggest.
Well, and right now, Battle Royale games are huge.
Yeah.
And games like League of Legends, that kind of stuff. Like, is Nintendo going to tap into that market with some first party games that are in that style? That would be.
I'm still waiting for an Overwatch Nintendo edition.
Ooh, that would be a big surprise if Overwatch came 2018.
I mean, but Overwatch is I would say Overwatch is a third party game that would sell consoles.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That would sell consoles.
That's one of the rare games.
What about Retro Studios? Do you think they're doing a new IP, or do you think they're making something with a Nintendo IP?
I don't know. It's so hard. Like the easy answer is, they're working on another Donkey Kong. But I don't really think that's the case. I don't know that. I think if they were going to put Donkey Kong on the Switch, the best thing to do would be to port over Tropical Freeze with Donkey Kong Country Returns, put those two games together on one cart, or a cart and a digital code, and let us play those. I think that would be a better value than just the port itself. I don't know if they're having. I guess I would say I hope they're not wasting retro on another Donkey Kong right now. Not that those games aren't that great, but I want to see new IP from retro. I want to see what those guys come up with.
It could be the next Sea of Thieves.
Huh.
Yeah.
From the rare guy. No, I agree with you that bringing over Tropical Freeze and Donkey Kong Returns would be a good idea, especially if they pulled one of the things that they seem to like doing right now, which is, hey, we're bringing out our old game and porting those over, and then, by the way, we're going to be doing a new game that's in development now. A la Metroid Returns and Metroid Prime 4 and Bayonetta 1 and 2 and Bayonetta 3. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that to try and tide people over with the promise of something cool coming out that's not out yet, but giving you something that you already like, but just making it portable or for an audience that missed out on the last generation.
Yeah. I'm so curious on what this year's going to hold, honestly, because I've seen YouTube video, or like at least the thumbnails are just clickbait, but like, is Nintendo doomed in 2018? The kind of clickbait that you just like avoid. But I do think there are some people that are like a little bit concerned, because it's like, what games do they sell? What games do they put out to sell more consoles?
Oh, I'm on that same boat. I'm not full light the building on fire, but I am concerned because you can't follow up a year that was 2017. Never are you going to see Mario Kart, Mario, Zelda, Splatoon. I know there's another huge hitter that I'm not thinking of.
ARMS, Skyrim, Doom.
ARMS, Skyrim, yeah. So I kind of wonder if they should have saved one or two of those. Clearly they wanted to come out swinging and make a system that sells. They accomplished that, but now what do you do for the next few months? You've already released Zelda, Mario Kart. Like what is there? What's left?
Yeah, I mean, and maybe we end up seeing a new Mario Kart sooner than later. Maybe we see Mario Kart 9 sooner than later, because I mean, maybe 8 was an easy port, add battle mode, but then Mario Kart 9 maybe 2 years later, because they could have been working on it for how long?
All right.
So,
I'm sure
the team was working on ARMS, so we know that that's what they were doing during that time, and they just had a smaller group, porting over Mario Kart 8. I'd be happy if they just did a DLC pack for Mario Kart 8 and added, new stuff like stuff from Odyssey, stuff from Splatoon, the new motorcycle from Zelda, and brought in a couple other characters and some new tracks.
Yeah, I think it's, in my mind, that's a little bit harder to market to try to get new people in. You know what I mean? Unless it comes out as a, Game of the Year edition or whatever, but it's already DX. You know what I mean? Like, what else are they going to add to this? Unless they make it a bundle, right? Get the full Mario Kart experience and the Switch or whatever.
Can I go off topic a little bit, like I tend to like to do?
Sure.
Do we have a minute?
By all means.
I just want to say it is very amusing to me that a lot of these huge games that sold the Switch are all Wii U titles. Had Nintendo marketed the Wii U appropriately, maybe things would have went completely different. Because we're all super pumped to play Zelda. That's a Wii U title. Mario Kart 8, Wii U title. Splatoon 2 is basically a Wii U port. All these games are Wii U ports. Kind of interesting. So, that's all. Honestly,
probably most of the games that we're playing, period, were meant to be Wii U titles. Yeah. Probably all of them, even Xenoblade. It's probably not going to be till next year or maybe the year after that. It's like these are I would say that Yoshi probably Switch title, because they had Woolly World one of the last Wii U games. But it's definitely interesting to think about. And I mean, was that part of the reason that 2017 was so good? Because Nintendo just said stop on the Wii U and then turned all those titles into Switch games and said,
so they had a huge backlog.
Just a massive backlog, because I mean, technically Odyssey could have been a Wii U game also, because we never saw 3D Mario on that system. We saw 3D-esque, right? With 3D World, but it wasn't true 3D.
I don't think that you could get, I honestly, I think like ARMS and Odyssey and Yoshi and Kirby are probably the 4 main games that were being heavily developed specifically for the Switch when they knew that they were going to be doing the Switch. And then all the other games that we had, they worked on porting Splatoon, they worked on porting Mario Kart, and they worked on porting Zelda during the time when they knew that they were going to be pushing out the new hardware and that these other games were developed, and they just wanted to supplement these 4 games. So instead of having 2 titles in 2017 that were Switch only and 2 titles that were Switch only in 2018, that they had at least a couple other games to put on there. Plus they'd been working on the Zelda for so long.
Yeah. It's just, this is a crazy time. And I really can't wait for this first direct to really just kind of have some direction to know, even a little bit of what we can anticipate for this year. If we get more info for Bayonetta on this direct, that's fine. I mean, I hope they market that game well so that people buy it. They're fun games, and it's it used to be one of the rare mature rated games on the on a Nintendo console, but now we've already seen, quite a few. I even picked up that Batman Telltales game was rated M. I was surprised by that. So there's a number of M rated games already on the Switch, which is good. That's a change. That's definitely a change from years past. So
I really hope we see from the direct that's rumored to happen more third party, which will segue into your next question. Perfect. But I want them to have a more third party focus. I want them to talk about where is Steep. Is that even happening anymore? Payday 2, it looks like, has an unofficial release date of late February.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more about that, and then hopefully. I don't personally, I did like the newest Call of Duty, but I'm not a huge Call of Duty fan. But if they just throw up, hey, guess what, guys, Call of Duty's coming at the end of next year. It's happening. I think that'd be huge, just because of that means that you're finally getting the third party support that you need to be successful. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping this direct is very third party focused, centric.
With that being the case, do you guys think that we are going to see more Nintendo licensed characters and exclusive third party games?
Logan, no, I think that Ubisoft had something going with Nintendo for a long time, and I think having Mario being the ambassador for a third party game is kind of the best route for them. Having a third party developer develop a Nintendo game as a Nintendo game, that's more likely, but I don't see us having, I think Skyrim with the Legend of Zelda DLC, or Rocket League with the Metroid car, and I think that's about as far as we're going to see some of that for a while. The success of Mario plus Rabbids was good, but I don't know how good it was compared to if they had their own character in Mario plus Rabbids.
Well, we've also seen games like the Warrior games that are Nintendo licensed characters in completely, non-Nintendo games, basically. And so maybe it won't, in that case, it's basically putting a Nintendo skin over a Dynasty Warriors game. But now, maybe we'll see something from third parties that, just like Mario plus Rabbids, that we've never seen before. We have no idea what it is. I don't know what, maybe like Namco's working on something, or who knows? We could, maybe that's going to be what's going to be some of these system sellers, is these third party games. I hope we see more stuff like that. I don't want to see the Switch become the third stop for Madden, Call of Duty, that kind of stuff. Not that would be a bad thing, but I think we want more innovation than that, right?
Yeah, you do. I definitely want exclusive third party and first party titles, but I just, why not have the games the other consoles are getting? Why not get Overwatch on the Switch that you can play with Mario skins, that they'll throw in for the Switch exclusive? Or why not get a new Call of Duty on the Switch? If they get their online infrastructure, you're going to play those games wherever your friends are, right? So if they get the online infrastructure down, then we could play there, and there's tons of people who have a Switch. So a lot of my friends have Switches. Not all of my friends have Xbox. Some of them are PS4, some of them are Xbox. So, but most of them have Switches. So that could be the common ground that makes up the middle.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And maybe it's like we see, like they did with Rocket League, we see exclusive skins, we see some crossplay taking place, and then that wouldn't leave the Nintendo's always seemed like they got the lesser version of these games, though, right? The Wii, remember Call of Duty on the Wii and having to use the nunchuck and the Wii remote? Like, it was terrible. It was terrible. So
I don't know if that was Activision's fault or if Nintendo was pushing too hard on using the Wii, the Wiimotes.
Who knows? But I do like what Super Nintendad says. Maybe we'll see Battlefront 2. Is that with or without loot boxes? And is Mario into the Star Wars universe? Because I'm okay with this.
Yeah, there you go. So here's something to consider. Everyone makes fun of the Switch being underpowered, and sure, whatever. But a lot of these games are built with multi-platform in mind now. These new game engines scale really well. People with low-end PCs can play them on low settings versus the high-end guys playing on ultra. But everyone can still play it. So I don't think the Switch is so underpowered that it can't play even on low. And if you want the prettiest graphics, you're probably not playing on the Switch anyways. That if all you're interested in is the best bleeding edge graphics, then the Switch probably isn't for you, nor is any Nintendo product ever.
I think with a lot of the third-party exclusives that we're going to be seeing, I think we're going to see them from other companies than the ones that we constantly bring up. Like we're still kind of waiting for the Suda51 Travis game to come out. We don't know what the release date is, but that's supposed to be coming. That was something that we saw a year ago was announced as a commitment towards the Switch. So I think we're going to see a lot of games that are exclusive for the Switch, but I think we're not going to expect them to be games from companies that are typically doing multi-platform franchises. We might see a couple of franchises from some of the third-party developers coming. I don't think they're going to have anything Nintendo exclusive. Like I guarantee you, Blizzard isn't going to devote time to add, a Peach skin to Tracer. That's probably never going to happen, but I can see them working on building a version of, like Hearthstone or Diablo 3 for the system and adding that to their already console lineup.
The other thing I want to talk about is we've talked about what we thought the major hitters would be, like the major players, but we have a lot of minor first party games as well. And I hope this doesn't offend anybody. It's not my intention, but you got Mario Party, which has not really been on people's good side for a long time. That game could use a refresh. You've got the Paper Mario series or Mario RPGs, Pikmin, which we already talked about a little bit. Help me out here, guys. What are some other games we saw? Was it The Wonderful 101? Right, that was like a Wii U title that kind of was a good game, but again, it was a Wii U title. Nobody really knew anything about it. Maybe that game gets a sequel. Kirby Geek says WarioWare. There's definitely stuff out there that would make hates.
Thanks, Kirby. You stole it from my bleeding heart.
And Wonderful 101, also a platinum title too, which is what I thought, but I didn't want to say it before I had my my oracle tell me. So,
I think you said Pikmin, I assume.
Yeah, Pikmin. Donkey Kong would be another one that would kind of be in that filler. I feel like
I don't know if Luigi's Mansion falls under there, because like they sold well, but like the GameCube one sold well, but it was a launch title and it was the closest thing to Mario anyone was going to get. Although I do think that game was severely underrated. They're not in the same tier as probably a Mario or a Zelda, definitely, but those are great, and I hope they're working on a Luigi's Mansion 3.
Don't hate me for this, but I'm gonna throw this out there because I really want a good one. I want a good Star Fox. I really love that franchise, and I think that Zero really kind of didn't quite hit where everyone wanted it to, and Star Fox 64 is still kind of like the epitome of that on rails shooter that I really enjoy with those characters. And then, does anyone care about Kid Icarus? Is that a thing? Like, do people like shooting stuff with a kid in his Icarus?
Somebody,
like a bow.
Somebody.
No, sure, yeah. People care.
Yeah. Toad's
People
Treasure
care about
Tracker is another one that could use a sequel. It's really a fun game. Really a fun game. They took a mini game from Super Mario 3D World and turned it into a full game, and it's a great game. Chat is mentioning Punch Out. Would be. I mean, Punch Out on the Wii was not a bad game. You could actually play it like turn the Wii remote sideways like an NES controller. You didn't have to do motion controls on it, and so it was fun.
I got the one that'll make everyone flip the table and leave the room. What if they finish that Earthbound game that they never finished and actually bring it over?
Like Mother 3? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. I loved Earthbound. It was great. Like, I didn't get to play it till way later because I didn't have it on SNES when it came out. And I can't for the life of me understand why it wasn't more heavily pushed here. Yeah, Earthbound 64, Super Nintendo, I'd saying that never came out because the DD flop, as far as I remember. Because that was supposed to be the 64 DD title along with the Zelda. But I would love for them to come out with a new Earthbound. The series was awesome. Clearly, people somewhere care. I care about it. So bring Earthbound back. Let's make that a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like we're dealing with an entirely different Nintendo, as we saw from 2017. We're dealing with a Nintendo that seems like they're listening. The very fact that we don't have the online structure already going, because it seems like they listened to feedback and said, let's pump the brakes on this thing and try to actually get something good. Maybe that's part of this direct. Maybe we will hear something about this, a little news on that. I mean, there's so much that we're waiting for. Shape says bring back Bad Dudes. Kirby says bring back Advanced Wars. Kirby says,
and of course Kirby's pushing a good Ice Climber game again.
If we get Ice Climber, then Duck Hunt has to be paired with it.
And make Duck Hunt. So what they need to do is make an NES HD remake of a pack of NES games that are all done in HD with make them I don't know, 64-bit or whatever whatever bit they need to be,
like new Super Mario Brother art style.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There you go. But even that's another series. Could we see a new Super Mario Brothers on the Switch? And
of course you will.
The two titles that are really great in the new Super Mario Brothers series, the DS and the Wii U. Those are probably the best two in this new Super Mario Brothers. So Wii U really was like a predecessor to Super Mario World. Like, that's really what it felt like. It was a great title. So A Zapper Joy-Con holder. I'm all about it. Let's get Duck Hunt back.
They got the IR sensor. I'm sure they could do something with that on there.
Now,
right?
hold on a minute. We can't be making Zapper controller Joy-Con holders without VR. It's got to have a VR.
Oh my gosh. What about AR? Just augmented
AR would
reality.
be
Just ducks flying all over your living room, just shooting everywhere.
Done.
Pokemon Go with Duck Hunt.
Wait. Hate said he's done. Hate said he's done. Wow.
I'm done.
We did it. We did it.
I'm done.
Happy New Year, everybody.
But
To circle back, I think we get a 2D Mario, probably not in 18, but 19, there's definitely going to be a 2D Mario. They're never going to stop making 2D Marios. I can't guarantee it's going to be in the same vein as new Super Mario Brothers, but you'll get one. But the VR, you can't do VR. The screen is 720p. You'll literally burn your eyes out. It's
you
just
won't, no,
they won't. You'll go blind.
It's going to look 8-bit. And that's what they want for Duck Hunt.
Nobody
You'll be
wants
so
that.
close to the.
Oh my gosh. I love that Shapes is like, we can't get 1080p, but you guys want VR? LOL.
It can't happen. It's not. Hey, maybe someday VR will happen, but if they do it, it's going to be so blurry. There's no way.
I know. I just
dream.
think it's
You
a
can dream.
perfect system for something. If it had a higher resolution screen, if it was a high density screen, the Joy-Cons popping off and sliding it into a headset would be spot on perfect. It's the right size for it.
Yeah, you could just dock it in and then drop the controllers.
Maybe that's the news we're getting. They're releasing a new tablet that's 1080p handheld.
Oh man, a Switch Pro.
That'll sell 10 million
If
more.
they make it white, I'll buy it. A white Pro edition. I'm game.
White Joy-Cons? That sounds neat. That sounds
As long
neat.
as they don't make it 32 gigs.
Right. Yeah. Give us at least 64. I don't know. Well, hey, this has been awesome. Everybody in chat, Killer, Super Nintendo, Shapes, BB, Kirby, anybody that I missed. I see Nightcrawler. Anybody else that's just lurking. Thank you guys. Doggly Woggly. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. This has been a blast. Wastelander, welcome. So let's wrap this thing up. Logan, where can people find you?
Twitch.tv and Twitter. You can find me at CaptLogan, CAPT_LOGUN. Now that I'm feeling better, I'm going to be getting back on the streaming horse and doing that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 8 p.m. Pacific time at the least.
Cool. Hate, how about you, bud?
You can find me on the Discord. You can find me, and that should be in the show notes, or NPC Discord. You can find me on Twitter at hate0 with an X. I do want to say a little special something that I've prepared. Tune in next week, and N64 Josh is going to b-boy and breakdance live on air. Hashtag b-boy N64 Josh.
Oh, things I don't miss. That's one of them. Guys, you're going to find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all the places. It's N64 Josh. Patreon, N64 Josh. And I've been trying to keep up with all of those things, so make sure to follow all of them. audibletrial.com/NPC. Get yourself a free book from Audible. Again, Super Mario, How Nintendo Conquered America. Great book. Ready Player One. Check those out. audibletrial.com/NPC. OP Seat is the chair I'm sitting in. opseat.com. Comfortable, affordable gaming chairs. Use coupon code N64Josh. Save yourself $10. And they just restocked all of the Master Series. I got that email today because they had sold out of a bunch of chairs. So opseat.com, coupon code N64Josh. And again, my Patreon, patreon.com/N64Josh. You can check that out. You can get you get an extra podcast each month for $1. And there's other tiers available as well. If you have a second, you could leave us a review on iTunes. If you're enjoying this show, we'd really, really appreciate it. I'm definitely trying to step up the game in audio quality. I'm now mastering each show, and I just want this to be the best possible podcast it can be. So if you're liking it, please hit us up with a review. We had a few people, I don't know if they're trolls or what, but they just dropped a bunch of 1 stars on us, and it dropped the rating down. So if you can help out by hitting us with a 5-star if you enjoy it, that would be greatly appreciated. The last review I saw was basically said happy accident. They were looking for the Nintendo show and found this one, and were so they were glad they did. So thank you so much for that review. And thank you guys just for listening week in and week out. I'm excited for 2018. This show turns a year old on February 13th, so we're almost there, almost a year. And I think there's a good chance we're going to break 50,000 downloads before the year is up. So that's pretty exciting. And that's all because of you guys. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here live. Logan, thank you for being here. Haight, thanks for being here. And with that, we'll see you guys next week.